EXP of the Malaysian team. And then Malaysia go for the safe route, right? Banning out that box here. Because no matter which role the box is in,
Oke, kita masuk di game pertama antara Iran versus Malaysia. Tadi itu salah guys. Yang sebelumnya itu tadi di game kedua ternyata. Nah, ini game pertama.
I think the approach from Team Malaysia this Lunox on top of what you mentioning as a flex pick.
Kita lihat Baxia, Dimben, Fredrin, Grok,
Right? And well,
Khalid.
good news is that Loliel plays both of these heroes, so he knows the matchup like the back of his hands. There is flexibility on Team Malaysia's side. They do ban on the Khalid to eliminate some of the fast tempo that Iran has been sort of throwing up on the table right now. But I think if you are Iran, you might be considering taking out mid laners, right? Shrinking that pool for Stormy and see if they are willing to really put that Lunox mid.
Yeah, but I think this is respectable as well. Taking out the EXP, protecting your Yuzong as well as whatever potential mids that's gonna come out. The question is, what is gonna be next? I feel like the safest one is gonna be that Esmeralda. If you don't want to get rid of Esmeralda, the CC is still open, has received quite a few nerfs. I myself have not tried the nerf movement speed on CC. I don't know whether it's super viable or not, but it's something worth considering.
The Hilda ban comes out from Malaysia's side. Very, very understandable. I think CC has been, prior to the recent nerfs, has been in such a strong position, but I do feel like if you are still thinking of picking that hero, she always has that curtain call, which in of itself is one of the most powerful crowd control in the game when used properly. Unless you have invulnerability or purify, you are essentially bounded. So I think it's still not the worst pick, but it definitely opens up options for heroes like Yuzong to come back more into the meta, considering that CC was quite a pain for Yuzong to deal with a couple of patches ago.
Yep. So now Iran, the final ban is going to be the Esmeralda. So protecting the Harif and potentially whatever mid they're going for. Because I feel like for them, Eve is probably the safest. I kind of feel like Farsa, there's still quite a lot that you have to be wary of. Other than that, Kimi honestly seems like a pretty nice pick for Iran as well.
Then you are essentially running pseudo triple marksman, right?
Yeah.
Ishin, Shin, Kimi, Lunox. If you ask me, I think Farsa or Eve, like I personally would go for either of those two. If we go back, like way back then, like, wait a minute, Selena is also up on the table, right? It's also a pick that I think Stormy can consider and has played many of times. But then gonna keep it a secret, right? Still keep Iran guessing. They take the Uranus first.
Yeah, and again, in this kind of lineup, I feel like Lunox still does well, either mid or gold. So either way, Malaysia is still commanding the draft here. Now for Iran, something that they have to consider is they need enough damage to deal with this Uranus, because if Uranus is able to cut the waves, able to extend the game, it will become at a point where the Hayabusa might have difficulty actually contesting the Lord, because he's just going to be on top of him all the time. So their mid is going to be very important here, and I feel like they need an easy crowd control to execute to actually stop the Uranus or the Isun Shin.
We've seen even I think case study has shown there are ways to deal with Uranus, and one of the ways is you put pressure on him very early, right? You go for early games like Hayabusa is perfect to really stop the Uranus if you get a lead. They pick the Hylos and Kagura. There's a ton of damage. Like Team Iran, huge damage overload. Like 4 out of the 5 heroes have great burst. The scaling is there, but you are relying a lot on this Hylos to really frontline for you, and we have seen situations where the Hylos sort of starts falling off, especially if you don't really get the early game tempo your way. So something that I think Iran needs to pay attention to.
I feel like Hylos is that bad friend because he's an enabler.
He is.
Where it's like, hey, do you guys want to start a fight? They're like, not really. Hey, we're starting a fight, right? Like, whenever he activates his ult, it helps out the Yuzong, it helps out the Harif as well. And this kind of deters, in case Malaysia does pick up something like the Eve, you can cancel out the slow. And as you were saying, the Selena was open. And we saw in the grand finals of MPL Malaysia, the Gatot, Isun Shin, as well as Selena, this mid trio. I gotta say, it does seem like Stormy on the Selena can solo control basically all rotations, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter mid trio, doesn't matter EXP, doesn't matter the gold. the Selena is able to stop all rotation. So I feel like
Tapi bisa aja
that's
sih
just one
Selena
hero, but
bakal.
Iran really needs to solve that problem. How are they going to deal with the Selena?
And it makes a lot more sense why they hit that Selena until last, right? They see they have the last pick advantage. They see the last two hero choices from Iran, and they realize that these heroes kind of like to hide. They like to move around a lot. You know, Hayabusa, you have the Kagura. Selena solves that problem, and is one of Stormy's recent signature pickups in the past few months. But it also means we get the Lunox into Harith gold lane, and we know how this matchup usually pans out. Things are looking pretty good.
Yeah. And now with that being said, welcome everyone. This is going to be the first match. Malaysia going up against Iran here in the WEC25. And then
hey, it's about building suspense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good things come to those who wait. That's what I like to say.
Should have waited a little bit more to hype it up. Oh, well.
You live and you learn.
It is what is it, right? But this gives us an opportunity to talk about this, where I kind of feel like if Iran is able to get a lead on the EXP specifically, because I feel like it's better to leave Harith on an island, let him do his own thing, and then allow the high loss and Yuzong to actually go in. Now, speaking of going in, now we're back in the game. Thank you very much to the crowd for hyping us back up.
Yeah, right on time, just in time for us to see also the jungle padding, both junglers starting on the purple buff, so it will be inverse. With that being said, as much as we did talk about solutions to dealing with the Uranus, but there are also solutions to dealing with the Selena, right? And that's also trying to get the game as ahead as possible. But right off the bat, Sakai making a very, very devious rotation, instantly taking that beetle away after the purple.
Yeah, and it looks like they haven't seen this just yet. Yum's taking a lot of damage, same as Runway.
The Runaway, Revitalize, let's keep him alive for just a little bit. But Stormy, once the kill, couldn't find it, and Kesa on top of him, first blood for the jungler of Iran. They do lose Runaway eventually, but Kesa is the one that cashes out with more gold. And Sakai can't really stick around for any longer. And that's the opening that we want. Very explosive from both sides.
Again, explosive coming in from both sides, and now Momo taking a bit of damage, but small lead for Malaysia because Sakai was the one that has taken away the beetle, like you said. So just a small advantage. But I feel like as long as Iran as well as Malaysia, they don't extend anything further, it's basically even. Even if you look at the goal lead, there's basically nothing there just yet. The fact that Stormy was not able to go crazy, get a bunch of kills, that's already impressive coming in from Iran.
We even saw Anders for a moment got that lane advantage, right? Was able to bring Momo down low, but he is the Uranus, so he's gonna heal back out, no problem. Runs the Brave Smite. So these chip damage are only going to stop him for so long. You need to call in a gank, and preferably when your Hayabusa is level 4, which he is right now, but unfortunately Turtle has spawned.
But Iran, they need to slow it down just a little bit. Okay, now Lucian does have level 4. He has the Yin Yang overturn, so now they can actually fight it up. But as I say that, Kesa, his HP has been dropped down quite a bit, so it looks like both teams, they're not going to be contesting the turtle just yet, making sure that they do their due diligence, get the buff, get your levels in, and then actually contest. Lucian is, if he has a big Yin Yang overturn, Iran could actually win this turtle fight.
Because of Sakai's earlier pathing, that means Kesa has an XP advantage, right? Because he gets to get his purple buff, but Sakai is forced to stick around. Though Kesa lost more than half his health, Mountain Shocker gets used. The Quad Shadows also off for Kesa. Black Dragon form to the back line. They gotta make a choice. Two-man Petrify! Until your Yin Yang overturn Iran. Takes out Sakai, and this should allow Kesa to get the turtle. Not a problem at all. Momo on the run, and they drop the carpet. Run away, make sure that his team gets out.
And this is why we say, this is why the draft coming in from Iran is very scary. And we talk about this before we even started the game. Decisiveness. How decisive can you be in the calls around the turtle, around the Lord? And Iran was decisive. They had the right heroes to actually go straight on to Yi Sun-shin. And Sky's paid for that.
Yeah.
He died, Malaysia lost the turtle, and now Iran has the advantage in terms of kills, the turtle, and gold.
And a lot of times, the game of Mobile Legends is really decided on the most incremental, the most minuscule of things. And we talk about the early rotation from Sakai, right? That didn't end up paying off, and sure, he got a kill, he stole a beetle away, but he fell behind in experience because he couldn't interact with his purple buff. Iran is now just shy of 1,000 go ahead. They use the turtle board, vision reveal, Enders is really absorbing a ton of pressure. He's forced Stormy and Sakai's here, and this is the third time they've done that visit. And Sakai's barely gets out, Runaway's carpet a bit late, and finally Malaysia gets something in return.
I'm able to get Enders here. But so far, I gotta say, Runway on this Hylos has been absorbing the pressure that Stormy is trying to instill on the team, almost forgetting how much punishment the Hylos can really take, making it so that Stormy is not able to move around the map as comfortably as he wants. Now, this is going to be the deciding factor here. The upcoming turtle, speaking of which, Enders gets ganked again.
Momo, his flicker is 10 seconds away, and Enders gladly takes the fight. Black Dragon Fall was used very, very early, so he's not going to have that for the next turtle fight, which is up in 20 seconds, and that's going to put Malaysia in a slightly more comfortable position.
Yeah. The only question is, what are you going to go for? Malaysia, do you actually want to fight, as in like get the kills, or do you want to contest for that turtle? Because I kind of feel like the threat, in case Iran is able to extend the fight, Lolio is fighting his bullet.
Great taunt from Yums, and Fulip will have to flicker out of that. Darkling also used by Loliel. I feel like that's probably a net positive for Fulip, right? You get 2 members of Team Malaysia on you, and at the cost of your flickers, not too big of a deal, but since Loliel had to use the Darkened form, so he's not going to have that burst damage to solo kill you afterwards. As turtle spawns, Sakai works on the case.
Yeah, looks like both bot laners will not be rotating towards the turtle. Stormy does have that attack talisman now. Looking at turtle, below half HP. Aesop Runaway is there. And right now he uses the quad shadow. Sakai gets it.
The taunt also helps Sakai out for the objective. Runaway would just have to use the carpet to get out of that. The glorious pathway. Not that glorious in that situation. Again, we did talk about Enders not having the Black Dragon form, so it's pretty hard to interact with Malaysia in that situation. Iran, though, not taking any losses, and I think that's good enough, right? You know when to really fall back and not give Malaysia more than they have gotten. And that's translation to the bottom lane, and let's see what Iran wants to do about this.
That is very important in competition, not to get too excited where you start making mistakes. And now, speaking of which, this is very even for both teams here, Husky. Both Malaysia and Iran having 2 kills each when it comes to the goal difference, only around 400, 500, so not that big just yet. Stormy gets it.
Oh, and just great juggling. Kesa finds a solo kill on the Stormy. That's a second death on the Selena. And one of the cons about this hero, for all the pros that she provides, is that she's pretty slow on the income, right? Not the best at clearing waves, not the best at earning gold. If she falls behind too much, she becomes a secondary support for the team. And Kesa getting his second kill, that's great for Hayabusa.
Yeah, Iran right now, what they really want to do is to secure, I mean, it sounds weird to say, but they want to secure the outside turrets as fast as they can. Like you said, Stormy on the Selena doesn't clear minions all that fast. So if they're able to get that kind of momentum, getting especially the mid turret, allowing you to enter the jungle, Malaysia's going to suffer a lot with this kind of drive. This is not the kind of drive that you can comfortably come back on.
It's very mechanically intensive, right? It asks a lot from you, from the players individually, though Malaysia did get the bottom tier 1. I was worried that they're going to miss that timing because Flicker just came back up. Either way, 1.5 KD for Team Malaysia, even though it's just a 1 kill difference, but we are looking at almost the same objective, same turtle. What Malaysia has is just, in terms of getting more objectives, run away, bursted down by Sakai. Yums gonna eat up damage, the overturn comes through. Yums gets out with the AOG. Malaysia looks to disengage. Black Dragon from Enders. Kesa from the back. Loliel flickers away, but not enough to stay alive. And Fulham now gets to do a bit of damage. Sakai though cuts right through them, and Momo shows up. Sakai, can you win this against Fulham? Of course he can with the help of Momo. 4 down on Iran, and Enders is the only one left standing, and he is forced to run.
At least we can say that both teams are not shy from a fight. And now Stormy wants to go in. Enders able to get some HP from the shot residue. And now Malaysia having 2,000 gold advantage, able to turn things around. And I feel like one of the factors is Enders was not able to fully utilize the Black Dragon form by getting as much people as he wanted with the Furious Dive, as well as he went in with half HP. So I feel like it could have been a lot better coming in from Iran. They forced it out a little bit, but you can see it could definitely have worked out in their favor.
Enders continues to receive pressure from Team Malaysia. They really want that top tier 1 and eventually will get it. Early on I did say it comes down to the most minute of details. Fulip didn't have Zaman Force in that fight because he used it earlier on when Yums was putting pressure as they were taking that bottom tier 1. Had he had the Zaman Force, that would have been a win. But maybe Stormy would be the exchange. Just have to flicker though. So Stormy gets out, 3.5 KD for Team Malaysia. And the pressure is now on. Mountain Shocker gets used, midwave gets cleared up, but the jungle taken over by Malaysia.
At around 8 minutes here, it's really all about resource management because you want to make sure that you get all turtles and, oh, looks like AOG doesn't hit anyone.
Runaway will forced to hold the front. The pistol arrow connects onto Enders. Not a problem there. The damage dealers from Malaysia aren't really in position. But Momo now has the liberty to basically frontline this forever. Black Dragon form gets used. There is the Petrify though. They get a control. Loliao disappears. Team Malaysia now on the run. Momo is going to be that distraction. With Yums holding the front, it shouldn't be hard for Malaysia to back off, but it's definitely a hefty price to pay.
Yeah, Loliao got caught in a trap where Iran was waiting for anyone to go in. And then again, this is why it's nice to have an on-click stun, where if the Hyla sees you, he's just gonna stun you up. And then as a mage, you don't have a lot of HP, right? You don't need everything from Iran to take it down. But the thing is, at least Loliao is alive for the upcoming Lord. This is, I would say the first Lord isn't super oppressive, but still, in a very high-stakes tournament like this is going to be very, very important. So both teams, they got to make sure that the battle spells is up, the ult is up. I would say especially for Iran, because between both teams, I feel like Iran is more ult-dependent compared to Team Malaysia.
I agree. So the one thing that they could bank on as well is there are no purifies on Team Malaysia, so all of your crowd control is going to connect as long as you land them. Run away, you can't run away from this one. Loliao finds his revenge. And Momo does what he does best on his Uranus, just hold back the front. Maybe Kesa can find a cheeky angle. He does see Loliao. Brilliance is going to destroy that completely, so no more shadow kill. And Malaysia has full control, but Yums once more. AOG, superhero landing into a follow-up from Stormy. They finally get the Furious Die Petrify into the Black Dragon, but Enders can't really do too much with the Mountain Bolt crashing in. So guys, he's just gonna clean up shop and traceless away. Malaysia finds 3.
Iran, look at that Stormy goes in, trying to kill, but Philip is still alive. Right now, Iran, they were, like, Runaway already died, and the fact that they tried to fight still was very, very dangerous, especially coming in from Kesa. He is one of the main damage dealers of the team. He has to choose his targets correctly. I feel like if he got onto Skies, it would have been worth it to expend your OG Shadow Kill. Speaking of which, Runaway, he might get caught again here, but able to get away with the use of the ult. So no fight is gonna go through. Malaysia secures the Lord.
This is also one of the few, I would say, things with having a high loss, because once you start realizing that you are not as durable as you were 3 minutes ago, that's where the problem starts, right? Because no one else from Iran can really take the punishment that Malaysia is dishing out. So if your high loss is getting melted like butter, then you have a secondary problem. Then maybe the plan B is just catch the course in the back line, but that is asking for a lot as well. Runaway is straight up gone as Loliao destroys his health bar. Kesa, if there's a magician that Iran needs, is Kesa, but sadly he only walks away with his purple.
Yeah, but I gotta say, just be happy with what you got. I would say they don't have the best wave play, or AOG goes in, hits onto no one. Do they actually want to go for this, Malaysia?
Wow, they actually get the Black Dragon form out. That is more than enough if you are Malaysia. You did say that Iran is a lot more out-dependent. Black Dragon form not being available for crucial fights and the Lord crashing in. This is bad news.
Yeah, but all the while, Kesa is waiting in the back. Stormy might know. Actually, Stormy should have vision here. They know, and now they're going for it. Yeah.
You don't need just the Abyssal Trap. You also have the Mountain Shocker, and this is going from bad to worse. Maybe Philip will be able to change it around, but Yums is just punching him in the face. Lord still pretty much healthy. 4v5, Malaysia have the advantage. The arrow connects on the Philip, and that's the important member of Iran that needs to go down. Philip somehow stays alive, but not Lucian though. This one does connect. Enders trying to bleed out Stormy, but one is all they get. Malaysia right on the crystal, and game 1 for Malaysia.
Congratulations to Malaysia winning the first game, going up against Iran. But we do have to say that the game, especially in the early as well as the mid, were quite fast enough there, where Iran had potential. They had many moments where they could turn things around against Malaysia.